Hi there, it's Barry Pemmer here again, just with another vlog for you. It was a major storm we had a few weeks ago. A lot of rain had fallen and I'd witnessed flooding like I'd never seen before. A few days later I was in the drain clearing out some of the damage. I was up and over my knees in uncomfortable mud, silty mud. It wasn't nice or comfortable as I waded in the mud for probably an hour. The only thing that really kept me going was the thought of a hot shower and some clean clothes. That mud was sticky. I've been in a few drains with hurt people too. They share their stories and some of the details stick. If you really want them to be open and honest with you about the struggle, then to some degree you have to metaphorically embrace them. A few years ago I found this wonderful quote by Judith Gundry-Wolff and Miroslav Volf. An embrace involves always a double movement of opening and closing. I open my arms to create space in myself for the other. The open arms are a sign of discontent at being myself only, and of desire to include the other. They are an invitation to the others to come in and feel at home with me, to belong to me. In an embrace, I also close my arms around the others. Not tightly so as to crush and assimilate them forcefully into myself, for that would not be an embrace, but a concealed power act of exclusion, but gently so as to tell them that I do not want them to be without them in their otherness. I want them in their openness. I want them to remain independent and true to their genuine selves, to maintain their identity as much as become part of me, so that they can enrich me with what they have and I do not. That was a wonderful quote, wasn't it? In Jesus telling the story of the man in the ditch, he wasn't just asking us to provide rescue mission first aid to strangers. He was inviting us to embrace the dirt. But a Samaritan, while travelling, came near him, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, having poured oil and wine on them. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him into an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said, "Take care of him, and when I come back I will repay you whatever you spend." Luke chapter 10, 25 to 37. The Samaritan, after sensing a compassionate gut move, took action. He climbed into the ditch, embraced the naked dying man with medicinal oil, bandages, then placed him on his donkey and took him to an inn. He opened and closed his embrace around the man for that moment of time. Now I'd like you to put yourself into the shoes of that dying man, even though he probably wasn't wearing shoes. What would you feel, sense, think? Hope, puzzlement, warmth, goodness? Are you afraid of dirt? When you enter into the drain and dirt of other people's lives, you are going to get dirty. The stories they tell, the pain of their journey, can get under your skin and grind away at your being. Most of it you can simply wash off, but some does get under your toenails. No one in this world is perfectly clean, and the more you embrace, the more you smell the dirt. When I entered that ditch, I knew that I had a change of clothes and a hot shower awaited me. Never enter another person's life without a self-care preservation plan, or you might just drown in the mud. Self-care plan for going into the ditch. This is my self-care plan. 1. Ask for Spirit, Holy, to place your mind into a bubble. Imagine this bubble being formed over your mind, and ask Spirit, Holy, that everything that doesn't need an emotional connection from you to simply flow over you. Imagine much of what they share simply flowing over you. 2. Notice the dirt. Don't avoid the awareness of stains of other people's lives. You're not Teflon Man, Superman dressed in a Teflon suit. We are invited to weep with those that weep, Romans 12:15. But please realize that those who weep with those who weep will get tears on their t-shirts. Some of it will stick, and that's okay. It's what you do with it that matters. 3. Have someone that you can share the dirt with. Some things that people will share with you might just grab onto you like a leech and suck the life out of you. Sharing them safely with someone who can hold the conversation in confidence is crucial for you to be able to let go of much of the dirt. 4. Journal the journey. I heard this quote recently: the brain is meant to be a factory, not a warehouse. Mike Vardy. Are you storing some dirt that you don't need to? Perhaps a journal might be a safe place for you to process it and shift it. Perhaps you could share that journal with your safe person. 5. Prayerfully intercede. Bring the situation to God and ask for help. I like the idea of creating a picture in your mind of bringing that person to Jesus. Perhaps it's you bringing the accumulated dirt in your life to Him for Him to carry. 6. Don't should over yourself. I should have done this or that. Shoulding won't get you anywhere other than being in a vicious loop of self-condemnation. Care for yourself. Do nice soul regenerating activities. Do you have some hobbies? What about exercise, taking the dog for a walk? What is it that fills your cup? If you're going to get into the ditch where the dying man lies, then you need a self-care plan. Here's some quotes for you to consider. Only those willing to stand close enough to listen will ever hear those closest to the problem. Jim Wallace. People with handicaps teach me that being is more important than doing. The heart is more important than the mind. Caring together is better than caring alone. Honre Nouwen. The third quote is, we know God's love because He did something, not because He felt something. Larry Crabb. Here's a few questions to answer and possibly leave a comment. Are you afraid of the dirt of other people's lives? Why? Do you have a problem in allowing yourself to have self-care? Final question. How do you respond to the quote by Judith and Miroslav Volf? Hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful. I like bringing these to you. And if you'd like to support me and what I'm creating here, just go to patreon.com, Barry Pearman. Patreon is like Patreon with an E. That's patreon.com/Barry Pearman, BarryPeaman, and support me with as little as $1 per month. If you like this content, then sign up for my newsletter, turningthepage.info, and please share it with others through your social networks. Thanks, and see you next week.